Welcome to King Says So, a channel that advocates for one Africa, one land, one Africa, one language, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one army. I wish to witness Africans all around the world united as one in our lifetime. Enjoy.
At White Knot Technologies, we specialize in bags, embroidery, branded wear, and screen printing. We provide the finest quality for affordable price and fast turnaround time. We make sure you'll be satisfied with your order. Visit us at 18 Fisher Avenue, Epping.
Help me listen quickly to the statement that Collen Malatji made, the Youth League president of the African National Congress. Very interesting stuff that he has touched here. And it's very, very, very interesting that we should give attention to this. Listen to this.
Youth representation in parliament. We're not going to accept it. Anything below 50% for youth representation in all characters of power, we're not going to accept it. We're saying that young people must be in the legislature, must be in parliament. Later on, they must be given executive responsibilities to run their own country. Now, if there's anything, anywhere, anyone dreaming, sitting somewhere, looking at the list to parliament that is less than 50% of young people, must know that there will be a war with the ANC Youth League. And on the rent manipulation, it's a criminal offense to manipulate the rent. People have maximized profit at the expense of South Africans, mainly the middle class. The banks that were involved made profit out of stealing from South Africans. They not only steal their money, but they also affected the economy of the country, which later affected the job creation opportunities of this country and put a lot of people who are already in poverty in deeper poverty. We're saying that the banks that are involved, all government entities must detach from doing business with them. If it means that we must remove all our salaries from those banks, all government workers must never be paid from all of those banks. Because the government of South Africa can't be in partnership with criminals. And we're saying the penalties paid is not enough. They must be arrested. It's a criminal offense to manipulate the rent. We're shocked that even today they're still not arrested, even those that have admitted that they were part of the manipulation of the rent. They're roaming around, behaving big. They're even going further to fund other political parties to remove the ANC out of power so that we won't raise the issue of them being arrested. We're aware of that. We're aware that they're recruiting veterans because they want to give credibility to their criminality. Because they know without veterans who have a clear track record of fighting for this country, no one will follow their Mickey Mouse organizations that they are creating with an intention to take the ANC out of power. Now we're saying that the government employees, all of them, they must withdraw any business that they do with all of these banks that are affected, including removing our salaries from them. We're saying that the African Bank and the Post Bank must be equipped enough to take responsibility. Because the government of the people that they get from state-owned entities, or the middle-class banking with them from wherever they send their labor. Now we're saying that we're calling upon South Africans who are conscious enough that they must not participate in any partnership or business with those banks who have been seen to be manipulating the rent. And we're saying criminal charges must be open against those ones. Now, and we're saying that it's an urgent matter. We'll have a discussion with the president, because we always engage the president that all those ministers that have been underperforming, who have not been spending their budgets, must be put aside, and those who have got energy to run must run. Those that have been participating in the manipulation of the rand must take full responsibility, and criminal charges must be placed upon them. Thank you.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my brothers and sisters around Africa, all my African brothers around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in on King Said So. It's your boy King053, Mr. Easy Imale Neng. Okay, Collen Malatji. I don't understand why is it that politicians don't have the wisdom of bringing a point across without attaching a threat to it. Once you start doing that, even in your personal space, at home, at work, once you say you guys better do that work or else, and then you must know that your authority is not there. You guys understand what I'm saying? Wisdom guides you on words to use and how to speak and to whom to speak to. It cannot be that with the liberation movement like the ANC that has carried a lot of veterans that are still in the system, older people above the age of 50, that Collen Malatji wants to threaten the mother body that if you don't put 50% of youth in the cabinet, in parliament, then we're going to fight. We want the youth to be in charge. It does not work like that. It simply does not work like that. Why? Because the ANC simply does not have the caliber of youth that can run this country successfully. They're going to make mistake and say, listen, because we are young people, we are allowed to make some mistake. Even the old people amongst us are making mistakes. You need guidance of the older people. Yes, we might agree that really the older people in the ANC, Mokwede Mantashe, Pravin Gordhan, they are useless, those people. I'm sorry to use that word out of respect, but really, what is Gwede Mantashe doing for us? Huh? What is why haven't they fired Pravin Gordhan? Jesus, it makes you angry, but you cannot take an unexperienced youth and throw them in the deep end. They're going to suffocate. Understand? You can take people like Jose Ramanso, who are now the Minister of Electricity, and propel them, to running the state-owned companies and all that. Those are the people that you need. You can't say 50% youth. Youth, they've got their portfolios like sports, entertainment, what other tourism. You can put youth there, but you cannot put youth for the sake of putting youth in. It's like saying 50% must be women, but where are you going to get the caliber of quality of women that are strong and independent like Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Lindiwe Sisulu? Where are you going to get people like that? It's only few of them, if we have to be honest. I like what Collen said about the people who have manipulated the currency, the banks that manipulated the currency. I also don't understand why, I repeated this thing so many times. Why is it that we are not angry enough that banks are manipulating the rand, people? You don't understand the level of depth of theft and the deepness of that statement. This investigation comes from the Competition Commission. They said it started around in the 2007, 2009, up to 2013. That's their investigative period. And banks have come out to say, listen, yes, we did manipulate. We are willing to pay a fine of 45 million, 36 million. Guys, we have been buying bread at the wrong price. We have been paying petrol at the wrong price. It is clear that the banks are making African people in South Africa pay more than white people, whether it be on a loan, car insurance, car bond, house bond, all the installments. When you are an African, you pay more than a white counterpart. It has been proven. That one is a fact. I'm not going to be afraid to say that one. It's a fact. Banks have been caught with their hands in the cookie jar, charging interest rate high for black people and less for white people in South Africa. Never mind that. On top of charging us a high interest rate, you still want to manipulate the rand for the exchange rate. So as an African brother who his business is picking up and I'm importing a lot of things, my rand against the dollar determines my price, my bottom line in my business. So you get to a point where the bottom line is affected because the rand is weak. And that infiltrates down to even the poorest of the poorest because they buy bread, milk, sugar, the things that they need. They buy those things and they can't afford. Sometimes they have to choose between taxi fare and food. And they will end up choosing food and walking distances to go to work. You know, the banks has messed us up, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to use vulgar words, but you know what I want to say. They have messed us up to the point I don't understand why our president is not showing serious anger. Jacob Zuma told us in the Zondo Commission that, listen, they told me if I fire Pravin, they will tumble the rand. And indeed, he fired Pravin and they made the rand fall. So the ANC itself must be angry because we blame everything on the ruling party, of which they don't have full control. Now he's speaking about Postbank and Nedbank. Now the ANC is starting to see the importance of the state-owned bank. For what? For the employees of the state. Because government is the biggest employer in South Africa. Government is the biggest employer in South Africa. So having a state-owned bank, imagine all of us who are working for state. I'm working for the state, by the way. Depositing our money in there, receiving our salaries there. That bank can never die because every month salaries are coming in, every month withdrawals are being made, deposits are being made. That bank will survive. It can give us loans and whatever. We'll pay because we are state workers. Our pension will depend on that. Our pension will be insurance that we can pay. You understand what I'm saying, guys? So Collen Malatji is speaking some serious points there. Even though we know that it's almost like an empty can, because what is Cyril Ramaphosa going to do about this thing of currency manipulation? What is he honestly going to do? I don't think anything is going to happen. It's so quiet. Like he said, even the media is so quiet. They just write a few paragraphs about it. They forget about it every day. We don't know if the current rate of the rand against the dollar is a correct one. We don't know. We're just paying every month. We're just paying. We're not sure if really our rand is equals to 18 rands or 19 rands is equals to what dollar. We don't know. And I've said if they could have done that to South Africa, with so much security and invested in intelligence behind, because the intelligence eventually caught up to them, what are they doing to Zimbabwe? What are they doing to Malawi, Kenya? What are they doing to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger? And luckily, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they are tired of this nonsense. They have now started their own currency. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger destroyed the French-owned currencies that they had because their currencies was actually printed in France. France can't use that currency; it sends it back to Niger, and Niger's currency is almost worthless. It's like the Zim dollar. So Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, those three generals are working better than any politicians I know in South Africa. Not in South Africa, I mean in Africa, the whole of Africa. They are working hard. They are now selling their uranium at the right price. They are taking back their gold mines in Burkina Faso, building airports, building streets, improving. Remember, France is so evil. When it stopped its colony in the 60s, 60 years ago, they um, they threw they threw concrete in the sewage pipes so that the government that is going to take over must completely suffer. Excuse me. I'm really dehydrated, guys. You know, I'm preparing for a fight. I'm dehydrated like nobody's business. So I'm trying my best. So yes, I might not agree a lot with what Collen Malatji say. I might not agree that the ANC might do something about it. I hope they will do it. I doubt they will, but what is right, whether it's coming from the EFF or ANC. As a Pan-Africanist channel, I must choose the right that benefits our African people. And what Collen is saying there is quite correct. Let me see. Maybe I'll upload the whole what you call press briefing so that you guys can hear the whole press briefing without making this video particularly long. So thank you so much for everyone that have tuned in. So click the like and comment on the comment section and the subscribe button. Click, guys, hit the bell icon also. I always forget to say that. Hit the bell icon also, and make sure that you're updated every time I upload a video. Another thing, with closing on a sad note, I did see that Zahara passed away. Yesterday I forgot to send my condolences here. So Zahara was a beautiful, intelligent, talented African singer, and you know, with her albums making more than 100 million, and Sony taking all that money, and then 25 million getting to TS Records where she was initially signed in, and she getting only 500,000. You can't buy even a car with 500,000. As a celebrity, you need a proper car, you need a proper house. With all that talent, all her music, she has left it behind to people to eat the money. And Sony Records will continue eating the money. Her family, the husband, everyone, close friends and relatives, really from King Said So, I send my condolences to you guys. Qinani, uNkulunkulu sesenkulunkulu, ningapheli umoya. Inceba lenu uzolisusa, ubuhlungu uzobususa, umthwalo uzowuthula ukuthi ningakhaleli futhi. Hlale nazi ukuthi uZahara usendaweni engcono kule. Ukhulekile kubuhlungu benyama. Thank you so much, guys. Till we meet next time, don't forget to pray. And after you pray, always stand up, African child, and do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.